Alrighty, good afternoon to all pro wrestling fans of all shapes and sizes from all around the world. Welcome to another Pro Wrestling Talk video brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram. Hope everybody's doing well on this beautiful Sunday in August. I wanted to get on here right quick, do another tournament standing update. Focus will be on the Marigold Dream Star Grand Prix and the New Japan Pro Wrestling G1 Climax 35, which just completed the A block. So, gonna go over the standings for that. Before I begin, I want to take some time to give a big shout out and congratulations to Kohaku. That's right. Kohaku is your new Regina de Wave champion. After winning the Catch the Wave tournament this year, she went on to dethrone Saya Kamatani to become the new Regina de Wave champion, which I believe this is her first time holding that title. So, a big congratulations to Kohaku. I actually got a chance to meet Kohaku while I was in Japan. So I was really happy to see her win. And like I said, nothing against Saya Kamatani. Of course, I love Saya Kamatani. I met Saya Kamatani. But it was actually cool to see Kohaku not only win the tournament, but also win the championship. And yeah, just for kicks, as you can see right here, yeah, got a chance to meet her while I was in Japan. Got me a autographed portrait of her, and took a one shot of her. And as you can see, that was right after she signed the autograph. But yeah, Kohaku, your new Regina de Wave champion of the Pro Wrestling Wave promotion. So congratulations to her. And it was also a pretty big deal considering this was Saya Kamatani's first singles loss in the last 15 or 16 singles matches she's had. And it's just crazy. It's just really crazy. I believe the last time she lost in a singles match, I believe it was against Micah. I think it was against Micah. Yeah. As a matter of fact, it was against Micah. Because it was the 5-star last year. So, yeah. So, Saya Kamatani has been on a roll. Not to mention, she won the Catch the Wave tournament last year and went on to win the Regina de Wave championship. So she's had that title at least for a year. So just amazing. But once again, shout out to Kohaku, and hope she has a great run with it. I really do. She has definitely grown tremendously as part of the Pro Wrestling Wave promotion. Okay. Now, let's go on to the current standings. We're going to start with the Dream Star Grand Prix, and then we'll finish with the G1 Climax 35. Okay, so they did have a couple of more matches, but now they got a nice little break before their next tournament matches. So let's dive into the current standings. All right, going to start with the Dream League first. Okay, looking at the Dream League. All right, so right now sitting at the bottom with an 0-3 record, 0 points, is the Black Diamond Riaseto. So 0-3 with losses to Utami Hayashishita, Mayu Iwatani, and Koki Amare. So, a really rough start for her. But she's still very much in this tournament. But she's got to really get going. She's got to start getting some wins. Okay, we got 3 competitors right now with 2 points each. They are Koki Amare, Chiaki, and Maria. Let's take a look at Chiaki. So 1-3, 2 points. She finally got on the board with a victory over Koki Amare, but 3 losses to Utami Hayashishita, Victoria Yuzuki, and Sarayama Oka. But rough start, but she finally got her first win. Okay, next we have the Amethyst Butterfly, Koki Amare. 1-2 record, 2 points. She won her first match against Ryoseto, but lost 2 straight to Maria and Chiaki. So, a little bit of a rough start for Koki, but still got plenty of tournament matches left. So, hopefully she can bounce back. And then Maria, of course, Maria is one half of Magenta, one half of the Marigold Twin Star Tag Team Champs. 1-1, 2 points. She has the 1 victory over Koki Amare and the 1 loss to Mayu Iwatani. So, that's them. Alright, we got 3 competitors sitting at 4 points, all 3 with 2-1 records. They are Utami Hayashishita, Mayu Iwatani, and Sarayama Oka. Let's take a look at the super rookie, Sarayama Oka. 2-1, victories over Chiaki and Mayu Iwatani, but just recently lost to Victoria Yuzuki, and therefore her undefeated streak ended. But she's still doing excellent, and I think she will continue to do well in the tournament. Okay. The Marigold Superfly champion herself, the icon of Joshi Wrestling, Mayu Iwatani. 2-1 record, victories over Ryoseto and Maria, and took a really shocking loss to Sarayama Oka. So, but still in good shape so far. And then we have the current Marigold World Champion, Utami Hayashishita, same record. 2-1 with 2 points, or excuse me, 4 points, I'm sorry. Victories over Ryoseto and Chiaki, and a loss to Victoria Yuzuki. And right now, sitting at the top of the Dream League, undefeated 3-0 record with 6 points, is Victoria Yuzuki, with some very big victories. She got victories over Chiaki, recently Sarayama Oka, and what could be argued as one of the biggest upsets of the tournament so far is Victoria Yuzuki pinning the Marigold World Champion, Utami Hayashishita. So, incredible start for Victoria Yuzuki, who's a former Marigold Superfly champion. But, yeah. So, Victoria Yuzuki in good position so far. Hopefully she can keep it up. Alright, let's take a look at the Star League. Okay, for the Star League. Okay, we got 1 competitor sitting at the bottom, which I had a bad feeling it was going to be like this to start. 0-2, 0 points. That is Kizuna Tanaka, with losses to Nagisa Nozaki and Chan Yoda. So, rough start, but only 2 matches in. She still has plenty of matches left to catch up. Okay, we have 1 competitor sitting with 1 point, shockingly, on a 0-1-1 record, and that is Miku Ano, former Marigold United National Champion Miku Ano. Off to a struggling start. Has the 1 loss to Misao Matsui, and 1 draw with Mirai. So it's looking kind of rough for her so far, especially considering she had a much better tournament last year. But still plenty of matches left for her to make things right. So we'll see how she does. Okay. Sitting, we got one competitor with 2 points on a 1-2 record, and that is Chika Gochika. So got the 1 victory over Misao Matsui and 2 losses to Mai Sakurai and Mirai. So, still plenty of matches left. Gochika, can maybe possibly make a comeback, but we'll see. Okay, we have one competitor sitting at 3 points with a record of 1-0-1, and that's Mirai. She has the 1 victory over Gochika and the 1 draw with Miku Ano. But, hasn't lost yet, so still not looking too bad. Okay, we have 3 competitors right now sitting with 4 points. They are Mai Sakurai, Nagisa Nozaki, and Chan Yoda. Let's take a look at Chan Yoda. Right now, 2-2. Victories over Mai Sakurai and Kazuna Tanaka, but losses to Nagisa Nozaki and Misao Matsui. Let's take a look at the current Marigold United National Champion, Mai Sakurai. Same record, 2-2. Has got victories over Gochika and Nagisa Nozaki, but losses to Misao Matsui and Chan Yoda. And then we have Nagisa Nozaki, 2-1 record, 4 points. Victories over Kazuna Tanaka and Chan Yoda, with the 1 loss to Mai Sakurai. So, not bad. Not bad for those 3 ladies. But, what many may find very surprising, sitting at the top of the Star League with a 3-1 record, 6 points, is Psycho Speed Misao Matsui. 3-1. Victories over Chan Yoda, Mai Sakurai, Miku Ano. 3 big victories. Did have 1 loss to Gochika, though. But still, the fact that she pinned former champion Miku Ano and current champion Mai Sakurai is huge. Really, really huge. So, Misao Matsui having an incredible tournament so far, especially better than last year. So, look for Misao Matsui to see if she can continue to hold on to this lead. Because right now, she's doing well. She's doing really well. Which I did meet Misao Matsui when I was in Japan. She's hilarious. Anyway, let's take a look at the next matchups for both blocks. So, going back to the Dream League. So, it looks like August 16th and 17th are the next 2 dates for the Dream League. The August 16th and 17th. So, let's see what we got. I only see 2 matchups. I see Utami Hayashishita versus Sari Yamaoka. Now, Sari Yamaoka's already beaten Mai Iwatani. Could she perhaps beat Utami? That would be huge. That would be very huge. Let's see. And then on the 17th, Rhea Seto versus Maria. That'll be a tough one for Rhea Seto. See if she can finally get on the board and get some points. So those are the next 2 matchups in the Dream League for August 16th and 17th. like I said, they've spread the dates out quite a bit. All right, and then the Star League. Let's see. They got matches on, let's see, August 17th and 16th. Looks like two matchups out of the Star League, which are Mai Sakurai versus Kazuna Tanaka on the 17th. Ooh, that's going to be a tough one for Kazuna Tanaka. And then on the 16th, this ought to be a good one. Mirai versus Nagisa Nozaki. That should be a really good one. That could probably go either way. But we'll have to see if Kazuna Tanaka can finally get on the board. Because, you know, we still got two competitors in the Star League that still have yet to win a match. And we have Rhea Seto, who's yet to win a match in the Dream League. So, yeah, they got a lot of work to do. But it's still pretty early in the tournament for the Dream Star Grand Prix. So, we'll have to see what happens. But those are your current standings for that. And now let's go ahead and finish off by going over the current standings of the G1 Climax 35. So, we're going to go over both blocks, but Block A has completed. So, going to start with the final standings of Block A, and then we'll go to Block B and talk about scenarios. So, anyway, let's jump right into it, starting with Block A. Your final standings for Block A. Alrighty. We're going to start from the bottom, like we always do. So, finishing at the bottom with a final record of 3-6, 6 points, is Taichi. He had victories over Yuya Uemura, Yota Tsuji, and David Finlay, but 6 losses to Sonata, Evil, Callum Newman, Ryohei Oiwa, Bolton Oleg, and Hiroshi Tanahashi. So, it was cool that he was able to qualify for this tournament, but just really struggled quite a bit. Alright. Let's see. We had 4 competitors that finished with 8 points total on final records of 4 and 5, which were Hiroshi Tanahashi, Ryohei Oiwa, Callum Newman, and Sonata. Let's take a look at Sonata. So, his victories were over Taichi, Yuya Uemura, Ryohei Oiwa, and David Finlay. Or, excuse me, Evil. I'm sorry, Evil. But losses to Hiroshi Tanahashi, Bolton Oleg, Yota Tsuji, Callum Newman, and David Finlay. So, had a rough start, but was able to end up finishing with 8 points. But, yeah, he had a really rough start. Okay. Callum Newman, the Prince of Pace. Came really close, but 4 and 5. Victories over Sonata, David Finlay, Taichi, and Hiroshi Tanahashi. But losses to Yuya Uemura, Bolton Oleg, Yota Tsuji, Ryohei Oiwa, and Evil. But he hung in there. He did pretty well, just came up short. Same thing with Ryohei Oiwa. Had a pretty decent tournament. 4 and 5. Victories over Hiroshi Tanahashi, Taichi, Callum Newman, David Finlay. But losses to Yuya Uemura, Bolton Oleg, Yota Tsuji, Evil, and Sonata. And Mr. Ace President, who has finished his final G1 Climax tournament, ends with a record of 4 and 5, 8 points. He had the 4 victories over Sonata, David Finlay, Yota Tsuji, and Taichi. but losses to Yuya Uemura, Bolton Oleg, Ryohei Oiwa, and Callum Newman and Evil. So lost to much of the younger talent. But, like I said, that's Hiroshi Tanahashi's final G1 Climax. Okay. We had two competitors that I want to highlight that finished with 5-4 records, 10 points each. They were Heatstorm, Yuya Uemura, and Bolton Oleg. Let's take a look at Yuya Uemura. So he finished with victories over Hiroshi Tanahashi, Bolton Oleg, Ryohei Oiwa, Callum Newman, and Evil, but had losses to Sonata, David Finlay, Yota Tsuji, and Taichi. But overall, a solid tournament from Yuya Uemura. Okay, Bolton Oleg, the current never openweight champion. 5 victories were over Sonata, Callum Newman, Ryohei Oiwa, Taichi, and Hiroshi Tanahashi, but had losses to Yuya Uemura, Yota Tsuji, David Finlay, and Evil. And he's only going to get better. He's only going to get better. Okay. And now our top 3. Starting with the 3rd seed, sealing it up with a final record of 5-4, 10 points, is the man with the $1 million smile. Yota Tsuji was able to qualify. Final standings: victories over Sonata, Callum Newman, Ryohei Oiwa, Bolton Oleg, and Yuya Uemura. Losses to Hiroshi Tanahashi, Taichi, David Finlay, and Evil. So, was on a losing streak for a bit after starting off strong, but thankfully was able to win his last match, and other factors played in, and was able to seal the deal on the 3rd seed. So, Yota Tsuji, who was a finalist in last year's G1 Climax, advances to the playoffs. Okay, taking the number 2 seed is the leader of Bullet Club War Dogs with a 5-4 record, 10 points, David Finlay. Despite matches where he's lost and thrown temper tantrums, he was able to bounce back and finish with the number 2 seed. He had victories over Sonata, Evil, Yota Tsuji, Bolton Oleg, Yuya Uemura, but losses to Hiroshi Tanahashi, Taichi, Ryohei Oiwa, Callum Newman. So, like I said, very, very strong tournament, and was able to do enough to make the playoffs. He takes the 2 seed, and taking the number 1 seed, winning the A block, and securing a first round bye in the playoffs, and will be in the semifinals, is the leader of House of Torture, Evil, finishing on a 6-3 record with 12 points. Victories over Callum Newman, Ryohei Oiwa, Yota Tsuji, Bolton Oleg, Taichi, and Hiroshi Tanahashi. His 3 losses were to Yuya Uemura, David Finlay, and Sonata. But Evil wins the A block, takes the 1st seed, the number 1 seed. So, it's crazy. You got both the leader of Bullet Club War Dogs and the leader of House of Torture in the playoffs. Man, it's crazy. It's really, really crazy. Okay. Now let's take a look at the B block. Okay, for the B block, let's see. Of course, we know Gabe Kidd, 0-9, 0 points, had the 1 loss to Konosuke Takeshita, but due to injury, forfeited the rest of his matches. So that's why it looks that way. But speedy recovery for him, for Gabe Kidd War ready. Okay. So we had let's see. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 competitors sitting at 8 points. They are El Phantasmo, Yoshihashi, Shingo Takagi, Great-O-Khan, and Drilla Maloney. Okay, let's take a look at El Phantasmo, the current NJPW World Television Champion. A 4-5 record with victories over Konosuke Takeshita, Drilla Maloney, the forfeit over Gabe Kidd, and Yoshihashi, but losses to Shingo Takagi, Zack Sabre Jr., Great-O-Khan, and Rin Narita. So, rough run for ELP, but at least he still has his championship. Okay, Yoshihashi. Yoshihashi. Let's see. 4-4 record, 8 points. He's got wins over Rin Narita, Drilla Maloney, the forfeit over Gabe Kidd, Shingo Takagi, but losses to Konosuke Takeshita, Great-O-Khan, El Phantasmo, and Shota Umino. And unfortunately, he's mathematically eliminated. It was close. It was really close. But yeah, he's mathematically eliminated. Shingo Takagi. Oh, man. I thought he had it. But Shingo finished 4 and, well, actually, Yoshihashi still has one more match. Shingo. 4-4. Victories over Rin Narita, the forfeit over Gabe Kidd, El Phantasmo, and Shota Umino. But losses to Yoshihashi, Zack Sabre Jr., Great-O-Khan, Konosuke Takeshita. So, for a second, it looked like Shingo was going to make a big comeback, but just kept piling on losses here, and it just became too late. So, but yeah, Shingo's mathematically eliminated, as well as Yoshihashi, ELP. Okay, not Drilla Maloney. Great-O-Khan. Great-O-Khan, same record, 8 points, 4-4. Victories over El Phantasmo, Yoshihashi, Shingo Takagi, the forfeit over Gabe Kidd, but losses to Zack Sabre Jr., Drilla Maloney, Rin Narita, and Konosuke Takeshita. So, made it to the playoffs last year, but unfortunately, not so lucky this year. Okay, now let's look at Drilla Maloney. So, let's see. 4-4, 8 points. Was off to a hot start, but took some major losses. But he's got 4 victories over Shota Umino, Great-O-Khan, the forfeit over Gabe Kidd, and Rin Narita. But losses to Konosuke Takeshita, Zack Sabre Jr., Yoshihashi, and El Phantasmo. So, interesting scenario with Drilla Maloney, because he's technically still in it. So he needs to win out, and he needs Shota Umino, Yoshihashi, and Konosuke Takeshita to lose in order for him to get a playoff spot. So, it's going to be tough. But it can be done. Okay. We have 3 competitors sitting with 5-3 records, 10 points apiece. We have Shota Umino, Rin Narita, and Konosuke Takeshita. Let's start off with Shota Umino. Shota Umino has 5 wins over Konosuke Takeshita, the forfeit over Gabe Kidd, Zack Sabre Jr., Yoshihashi, and El Phantasmo, but 8 losses to Shingo Takagi, Drilla Maloney, and Ren Narita. I know many are probably not hyped about the idea of Shota Umino even possibly winning the number 1 seed or making to the playoffs or whatnot, but there's a chance. Just prepare yourselves. That's all I can say. Ren Narita, 5-3, 10 points. Kind of surprising by many. But victories over Shota Umino, El Phantasmo, Zack Sabre Jr., Great-O-Khan, and the forfeit over Gabe Kidd. 3 losses to Drilla Maloney, Shingo Takagi, and Yoshihashi. And then we got Konosuke Takeshita, the Alpha. Same record, 5-3. Victories over Yoshihashi, Shingo Takagi, Great-O-Khan, the forfeit over Gabe Kidd, and Drilla Maloney. But he's 8 losses to Shota Umino, El Phantasmo, and Zack Sabre Jr. But still very much in it. So, for Konosuke Takeshita, he needs to win, and he needs Shota Umino to lose. That's best scenario for Takeshita. For Ren Narita, all he has to do is win, and he's in. It's that simple. Also, same thing with Shota Umino. If he wins, he's in. So, easy scenarios for Shota Umino and Ren Narita. But the one who has it the hardest is definitely Drilla Maloney. But, okay. And then, sitting at the top of the B block, who's locked in a playoff spot. He hasn't locked in the number 1 seed yet, but locked in a playoff spot, record of 6-2, 12 points, is your current IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, Zack Sabre Jr. 6-2. Victories over Konosuke Takeshita, Drilla Maloney, Great-O-Khan, the forfeit over Gabe Kidd, Shingo Takagi, and El Phantasmo. So it was really looked great in this tournament. A rough start at first, but then has really gone on a tear. But yes, that is your B block. Like I said, just a recap. A block, 3 seed is Yota Tsuji, 2 seed is David Finlay, 1 seed is Evil. So, for B block, the final matches for the B block will be on August 13th. So that's in 3 days. Final matchups, Shota Umino versus Great-O-Khan. That should be interesting. Like I said, Shota Umino, all he has to do is win and he's in. Okay? Yoshihashi, Zack Sabre Jr. Pretty much, if Zack Sabre Jr. wins, he, by default, will secure the number 1 seed. So all he's got to do is win, and he secures the number 1 seed. Okay. Shingo and Drilla Maloney. Oof. A really, really tough one for Drilla Maloney. Like I said, he needs to beat Shingo, and he needs Shota Umino, Yoshihashi, and Takeshita to lose. So, it's going to be tough. He's got to win, but he also is going to need help. But we'll see how it goes. I mean, the craziest of the crazies have happened before in the past. Okay? Let's see. And then Yeah, Takeshita and Ren Narita. Like I said, for Ren Narita, all he has to do is win and he's in. For Takeshita, he needs to win and he needs Shota Umino to lose. So, those are the scenarios for the B block. But like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how this finishes. And then get ready for the playoffs. But yeah, those are your current standings for both the Dream Star Grand Prix and the G1 Climax 35. I didn't do one yet for 5-Star Grand Prix. I'm gonna actually wait until after Monday because they got some matches coming up on Monday, August the 11th, and then they got a nice little break before the next set of matches. So after tomorrow's matches, I'll do a new recap for the 5-Star Grand Prix. So just keep an eye on that. Anyway, that'll do it. Don't forget to let me know what your thoughts are on the current standings for both the Dream Star Grand Prix and the G1 Climax 35. How do you feel about the winners coming out of the A block? Yota Tsuji, David Finlay, number 1 seeded Evil. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell while you're at it. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. For another Pro Wrestling Talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming here on the U to the Tube. My name is Jason Ingram. Hope everybody has a blessed week, and I will see y'all in the next video and our live stream. Peace.